It's 1490 KBZY Loud. We're going on live radio now. Will you stop talking for crying out loud? It is 15 minutes after 10 o'clock, and joining us in the studios this morning from Les Schwab, my buddy Lyle. You're over at the West Salem Les Schwab, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you brought a guest in here. Why don't you introduce your guest?
And we brought today is
No, I'm Terry.
Kelly Broomall from the Portland area.
Hey Kelly, how you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Good. You need to get a little bit closer to that microphone there and talk into it, and that way we can all hear you.
All right, I'll do that.
And for some reason we're not all hearing you. Let's try it this way. Yeah, helps. Now we try it. Here we go.
How we doing?
Why don't you go over to this microphone here, the blue one. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure why it's not working, but for some reason we don't seem to be able to get you there. All right, we got
How
you.
we doing now?
Now we got you. There we go.
All right.
I knew we took. All right. First of all, Lyle, this is an incredible event that's coming up next week. It's the Field of Flags at Riverfront Park, and it's going to be taking place from the 8th to the 11th. Tell me a little bit about it first.
What it is we're going to erect around 5,000 flags that's going to commemorate the Riverfront Park, or the 9/11 memorials, the 10th anniversary of that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll build flags, fields representing the Tower 1, Tower 2. The planes will be inside those towers just like they were that day.
Mm-hmm.
All standing there representing all those people. We'll have a heroes field, which represents all the first responders, the policemen, the firemen. We'll have a Pentagon field with the Pentagon and the plane flying to the side of it or within it. We also have a military field that represents all those people who lost their lives since then, but it also stands for all those people that served this country, all the veterans.
Mm-hmm.
That is a special field. And this time we're also adding special fields for the policemen and firemen who served in the state of Oregon that lost their lives in the line of duty. The field's going to be resurrected on the 7th. And starting at 4 o'clock on the 7th, we're going to start with the opening ceremonies of the police and firemen fields.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're concluded and all opened, they will have the official opening of the military field that evening as well.
Okay. Kelly, how did this come about?
I work for Boeing Commercial Airplane Company, and I just retired at Christmas, but those planes that were used to do this cowardly act were planes that I helped build. And so it had a definite impact on the site where I work, which was Portland. Actually, it's Gresham. It's called a Portland site, but it's in Gresham is the Boeing plant. And they've got about 1,500 workers there. And we all had our hands on these airplanes that were used on 9/11. So the day that it happened, everything came to a standstill practically at the plant. Everybody had their eyes either glued to a television or listening to a radio at what was taking place at the time, and so it was pretty devastating for all of us.
What was going through your mind? Were you thinking about the fact that it was a plane that you would help build, or was that...
It was just the idea that it's something that we made for a purpose of transporting people. We had no idea that it would ever be used as a weapon to kill people. So it was a wake-up call for me at the capabilities of a society of people that does not feel that we have a place in this world. We've got to deal with that now, and it's going to be interesting over the years. I probably won't be around, but it's going to be interesting over the years to see how this country and other countries handle the fact that there's a society of people that believes there's no place for us in this world because we don't believe like they do. And for us living in a country where we have the freedom to believe in whoever we want to believe and not be persecuted for it, but now we've got a society, like I said, that's willing to step up and persecute us because of our personal beliefs. It's hard to fathom that we do not fit. So that's the crisis in my life that I deal with on a day-by-day basis. When I look at everything around me and what we as a nation, as a country, are able to do, and to go back to this, I call it a prehistoric time, where you can't do what you want to do, and you have to believe what somebody else believes, whether you like it or not, or you're killed for it. That's hard, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. So that's what I deal with on a daily basis, is I don't have a place in society because of a group, a religious group, that this is their firm beliefs and they're doing everything they can to make sure that there's no place for us.
Do you think about this every day?
Yes, I do. I come from a very large family, and it's a military family. And we've always we've always believed in this country and what it stands for. And it's just the idea that that could go at any time, you know, in the blink of an eye.
Who was all involved in putting this event on? I mean, you're not doing this by yourself. You've got a lot of help.
Well, it started out in 2002, and a gentleman over in Sandy, Utah, Paul Swenson, he came up with the first field, and he built the first field in front of City Hall in Sandy, Utah, and put up 3,000 flags, a little over 3,000 flags at that time, because that's what they thought had died in the buildings.
Okay.
And so when he built that first field, it was on national television. Associated Press carried it on all the stations. And so I was sitting watching, and I saw this on TV, and I thought, what a great idea to do something like this and to bring it to Gresham, Oregon, because Paul was the only one that was doing it at the time. And so in 2003, that's when I decided I was going to do it. So I approached Boeing first and asked Boeing if they would help me do this. And they said they'd give me a grant so that we could go and make a deposit to buy the flags. And then I met John Micheletti. John Micheletti lives in Connecticut. And John came up with the 9/11 flags. And
what's the difference between the 9/11 flags and the regular United States flags?
Well, the 9/11 flags, they're banners. And what John has done, he was dealing with a crisis in his life at the time. He had open heart surgery, and he had an idea of making a flag, and where the stripes are, putting all the names of the people that were killed in 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
So when he made the first flag, every person that died in the towers or the first responders, it didn't matter who they were, he made sure that their name was on this banner that he designed. And then he called that first banner that he made the Flag of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly thereafter, he was asked, I believe, by the New York City fire departments and police departments if he would pull those names and make a second flag called the Flag of Heroes. These were for all the first responders that ran into the buildings while everybody was running out, and make a second flag just for them so that they could fly them over their stations. And so that's what John did. So that's how all this got started. So there's two flags now, the Flag of Honor, which has everybody's name,
mm-hmm.
and then the Flag of Heroes, which is just the first responders.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the two flags came from. There's a third flag also, which was made by Gwen Liacona, and she lives down in North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. She came up with the third flag that we're using, which is a red flag that has the Pentagon in it and the two towers, and it has white stars in each of those areas and a blue star for the Pentagon because it's white. But each of those stars represents an airplane that's either crashed into the towers or crashed into the Pentagon or crashed out in Shanksville. But all those symbols are on her flag. So those are basically the three flags that we're using the most of. But then I can't imagine building a field like this without putting American flags up.
Mm-hmm.
So in the military field, we have nothing but American flags. And the American flags we're using aren't just printed flags. These are high quality nylon all-weather flags that have embroidered stars. So it's not a printed flag that you would go to the store and buy for 10 or 15 bucks. This is a flag that's going to last for several years.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break right here because we need to take care of a little bit of business. We'll be back and we'll be talking some more about this incredible event. It's the Field of Flags, which is taking place at Riverfront Park, September the 8th through the 11th. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
It's low fare.
25 minutes after 10 o'clock, Salem's First Choice, 1490 KBZY. It is happening at Riverfront Park, September the 8th through the 11th. It is the Field of Flags. There's going to be over 4,500 flags that will be flying out there. And this, of course, is to mark the 10th anniversary of the tragic events that happened on 9/11 in 2001. Joining us is Kelly and Lyle, and we've been talking a little bit about how this program has come together. What happens to the flags when you're done with them? You come on, right?
The whole idea that the field is to raise money for the Military Family Relief Fund and also the Child Abuse Prevention Program through the ESCAPE program.
Mm-hmm.
We want to sell all those flags. That's how we raise the money. So everybody comes down, buys a flag. That's how you can show your support to these military families, the soldiers serving overseas, and we're giving back to our own community right here in Salem with the Child Abuse Prevention Program.
Did you see the two I have in the lobby from last time?
First thing we noticed.
Yes. They're still hanging there. I bought those right off the bat last time.
Well, Terry, I got to tell you.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm my first day in the job here. I got to make sure I got the right controls up here. Go ahead.
Well, Terry, I got to tell you, without Jerry Thompson, the National Exchange Club, and the City of Salem, we couldn't have done this for the 5th anniversary when we did it 5 years ago. And now here we are doing it for the 10th. But George Sadler from Les Schwab, Ray Llewellyn, who's a liaison with the Oregon National Guard, Sandy Bauer, our events coordinator, Boeing Commercial Airplane Company in Portland, Terry Dodson from United Pipe and Supply, Sunbelt Rentals, all these folks have been with me from the start in 2003. But some of the others that have come on board this year are Intercom Radio with 5 stations in Portland, Cascade Steel, Landmark Awards and Engraving, Harold's Quality Auto Repair. There's so many different people that have come on board this second time that we're doing this that there's just not enough time or enough room to talk about them. Mm-hmm. So if you go to the website, you'll see all who our sponsors are.
Where is that website located?
www.patriotsdaymemorial.com. It's got all the rundown, all the sponsors, and has all the events and times when they're going to be happening.
It has a very good schedule that they can follow and pick which day they want to come if they want to come.
Okay, now this is going to be taking place where, Lyle?
Right at Riverfront Park.
Now, last time, if I remember right, not only did you have all the flags flying in the park, but you also had them across the bridge, too?
The bridge was put up by the Scouts. They put those flags up for us every year. This time we're going to be doing the walking bridge, the new railroad bridge.
Really?
It wasn't there last time.
Okay.
So
And the walkway all the way into the park.
All the way into the park, from the bridge to the park.
Okay. We need to take a quick break here and do a little bit of a weather check, because Bill is a little standing by and he gets very impatient. And when we come back, let's talk about some stories of the last event 5 years ago. All right? We'll be back with more here in just a moment here on Salem's First Choice. But first, let's check with Bill.
The KBZY computerized time and temperature is
10:29, 64 degrees.
We are talking with Lyle and Kelly, who are putting together this Field of Dreams. They are among many people that are putting this Field of Dreams together. And the last one, this is the second time, Lyle, that we've done this. The first time happened 5 years ago. I didn't know what to expect 5 years ago when you approached us and told us about this thing. I thought, okay, we're going to have some flags out there. And when we went out there and saw it, it is so overwhelming to go out there and see all of these flags. But one thing that I noticed, we were out there broadcasting a couple of the days last time there, and I noticed that people, as they were walking in, were talking, and then all of a sudden they get into the park and it's dead quiet. I mean, all of a sudden people just stop talking and they're just kind of walking around and just looking, and nobody's talking, nobody's saying anything. And it was just kind of interesting to watch the different people's reactions. And the one that we talked about the other day was the young man who was in the, I believe it was the Marines, if I remember right, and he was walking around looking for a particular name. And he finally found the name, and then he just sat there and he just started crying, and he wouldn't leave. And if I remember, I talked to his mother. She said that that name that he was looking for saved his life, and he stayed there. I mean, it's just amazing that some of the different stories.
You know, when you visit that field, you hear 3,000 people lost their lives in one day. Until you see it. Come out here, Kelly.
Yeah. until you see it, it puts things in perspective, because each flag represents a lost soul that's not here anymore, that loved ones are grieving over. And several of the people I've talked to, that, just like you said, when they first walk in the park, they're so overtaken by what they see, and the comments are, this really puts it in perspective, or this is so humbling when we come in here and we see this. And it hurts to talk about it, because it's still, to me, it's still fresh. It's almost like it happened yesterday, but everybody says, oh, it's 10 years. It's time to forget about it and move on. And
it seems like it was just yesterday.
Yes, yes.
And it's. Last night. I watched the 911 interview with former President George Bush on National Geographic Channel, and just to see him talking about it, and you can just see the emotion in his face.
Yes.
Where he says, "I came into this presidency to be the president, not to be a wartime president."
Yes.
And he said, it was just amazing that, how much it affected him as well. I mean, he was hurting just like everybody else was.
Yes.
Lyle, tell the story of the gentleman that was there after hours. I believe you told it to me the other day.
Gentleman Ray Llewellyn. Ray Llewellyn brought his trailer down and stayed that field the entire time. It's a military tradition. I learned so much through this, but you never leave a fallen soldier. From the time that field is started to erecting until we tear it down, he never leaves that field.
Wow.
It's totally amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the people that happened, midnight one night, we had an elderly gentleman come down and he pulled some stuff out of his van, and Ray met him out there and asked me if he could help him. The field's closed. I'm here to see my sons. He had lost both of his sons in Iraq. So it was, it's a pretty emotional place to be, but it really helps you see and really get a feeling for the magnitude of that day and the history it left on our country.
What are some of the activities? I mean, this is going to be taking place for a few days. What are some of the activities that are going to be going on? Let's start with the first day there.
Well, the first day there, remember, on the 7th, we're going to be erecting that. And at 4 o'clock, that's going to be, and it's on the website. So
you guys need help at all? You need any help?
Volunteers would be great. We need help manning the booth, selling the flags, and helping us pull them from the fields.
Pulling them from the fields is going to be the biggest issue if you get people to help us, because when the end of the day comes and we're still doing the same thing, dragging flags out of the fields, bringing them up for people to take home, it gets pretty tiring after you've been out there for 10 hours. So anybody that wants to come out and help haul flags up out of the fields and bring them up to the booth so that people can take them home.
Who do they contact?
On the website, we've got some names and phone numbers there. Jerry Thompson through the Escape Club. Harold through Harold's Auto Repair. You can contact him. The website's one of the easiest places to go. They can send an email.
Places in there for it.
What else is going on? What are some of the other activities that are taking place now?
On September 8th, it's a military day. The education is going to be 9 a.m. that morning. One of the biggest and most, one of the moments that I'll always remember is taps.
Yes.
Taps is played at 7:30 every night during this event, and there's 2 players, and they're set from one end of the field to the other, and they echo each other. And if you want to get a full feeling of what the field is and the meaning, be there to witness that. It is something that'll stay with you.
That's a rough song to listen to.
Yes.
That's rough to get through,
And
without bringing any emotion. I mean, that's a rough one to hear.
And there's a big difference between looking at it during the day and then coming out at night when all the lights are on and the field's lit up and it's dark. It's different too. It's a whole. The emotions are. I don't even think the emotions are the same, because you're looking at 2 different perspectives of this thing, and it's amazing to look at it during the day and then see it at night when we've got it all lit up.
What are the hours? That's the park's going to be open.
Right up till 10. I think they're closing around 10 o'clock at night when they actually shut it down.
Does it cost anything to get into the park?
It's all free. All free.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
The 9th is Public Safety Day. That's when we pay that special to our police and firemen. I mean, that's a special time for them. And those are local heroes. When you pass them down the street, make sure you tell them thank you for what they do for
My
us.
son's a firefighter. You don't have to tell me what kind of heroes they are.
They are.
Yes.
They are.
But let me tell you something.
They all have
being
difficult jobs.
Being the father of a firefighter is not easy. We've gone out there and watched him do some burn to learns, and I'll sit there with his mother, and he'll be going in there, and I'm going, "Is my son going in there? I don't want him going in there. Come back out. You know, don't go in there." But they are heroes.
They are.
And you know what's really neat about them? They watch each other's back. They've got each other's back all the way.
See, you have a perspective of what was going on in New York that day. You have a very good perspective of that because you have a son that's doing the same thing that those guys did on 9/11.
We had talked. I was telling Molly that the New York City policeman who became the singer there, Daniel Rodriguez, was here in January, and we got to know him. And he was telling me that he was crossing the Brooklyn Bridge when the first one hit, and he saw the big puff of smoke, and he immediately thought he was going to work as a police officer. And he thought, I don't even need to go to work. That's where I need to go. And he went there, and he pulled out many of his fellow officers, and some of them made it, and some of them didn't. And you know, he doesn't like to look at himself as a hero, but you know, they are. They're all heroes.
Yeah, they are.
They're all heroes. What else going on, Lyle?
Saturday is a day of silence. One of the things happening Saturday mornings, we are going to have the Silent Run to Remember. It's a 5K run at the park. It starts at 7 a.m. You can sign up on the web. T-shirts to buy. There's all kinds of ways to support the field. And then Sunday is the 10th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of, remember we saw the flags and the banners for fundraising. There's a military flyover at 10:15. Closing ceremony is going to be at 6 p.m. that evening with the military flyover. We're going to have a cannon salute. And if you've never witnessed a howitzer going off, I remember all the people up in the West Salem Hills, when you hear the gun going off Sunday evening, we're not being attacked. We're just saying thank you to all those heroes.
That's going to rattle a little bit of noise. It'll rattle some windows, won't it?
Yes, it
Yeah.
will.
When that goes off.
And also I want to make sure you know that the field, it is totally covered with security, 24 hours. So if you do visit down there late, make sure there will be officers running around. Don't drive on the field. We had Kelly, he was a little ambitious one morning. He kind of got on there about 5 a.m. I think. And he drove right into the field. Well, he didn't tell any of the security that he was with 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And they just happened to pull him over. Next thing you know, they got him bent over the hood of his truck and they're frisking him.
Whoops.
It was a pretty good story for all of us. And we always kind of look at Kelly now and kind of wonder if he's really.
Now, we're running out of time here, but one of the things that I remember last time, if I remember, they had everyone's individual names on crosses or something. Is that for just
families? We will give those to the immediate families that do come out. But if the immediate families do not come out and somebody wants to buy them, they can do that as well. And what's happened in the past, and it's so amazing, is we will get people towards the end that will come in and buy the military flags and make sure that those families get those flags and those plaques.
Wow. How many of these events are taking place around the country?
Well,
There's not a lot, is there?
No. This is something that you'll probably never see again. This is our 9/11 here in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be very few states around the country that are doing what we are doing on this scale and with the flags that we are using.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing that probably won't be done again after we do this 10th anniversary.
You don't think there'll be a 15th anniversary?
No.
Really? Why is that?
I don't think anybody's going to step up and do that.
It's too
I
bad.
know I'll be too old at the time, so I probably won't.
It's only 5 years down the road. You got a ways to go yet.
Oh, but this 5 years here, this last 5 years, it's starting to show.
Yeah. Lyle will do it. He's a spring chicken, right? All right. Anything else? Any closing thoughts that either one of you'd like to?
One last thing. Kelly sent flags throughout all of our military people serving in harm's way, right here in the local state. Peacetime basis. Some of these flags have flown on military excursions in Iraq, Afghanistan. They've been on ships. One flag flew on the USS New York. It was built from the towers. Those flags are going to be here for sale at this also. They will be surrounding the perimeter. So as you come down, the flags around the walkways if you look at those flags have flown either on helicopters or jets or on their ships. And they are all commemorative plaques signed by the crews or by the troops. And those will be available also as something that you can bring back to your home and put on your wall and know that you supported our families. And
What are the flags running? If somebody is interested in buying?
Well, the Flag of Honor, Flag of Heroes are $25.
Mm-hmm.
That's unsigned. If you buy one of those that's signed by a military unit or a police or a fireman unit, those will be $40.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy an American flag out of the military field, that'll be $40 as well.
And that's the one that has the embroidered.
Yes, yes. And then the red flag, Never Forget flag, which is Guanacola's, that flag will be $40 as well.
Okay. Are all the flags in town now?
Yes, yes, we have everything in town now. Actually, it's sitting over at the Anderson Readiness Center in the back of the truck. We assembled 5,200 flags here about 2 weekends ago.
Wow. On
a Friday and a Saturday. And everything's set in the back of that truck now, waiting to come out and be pulled into the field and put up.
Right. All right.
one thing that if you like the pole and the rebar to stand it up on, and you can take the whole thing home and put it in your yard just like it's flying on that
Just
field.
pound that stake in the ground and set the pole up, and you got her flying.
What is the bracelet you're wearing?
That is the 9/11 Never Forget from Kelly. You can cover this.
Where is it?
Folks in New York sent that to me.
It is one of those, what do they call these, the silicone bracelets they have there?
Yes.
It's got the American flag on it. It says 9/11, never forget. Now, will you have these available too?
No. These are, I only got 10 of these, and I just gave them to most of the guys that are helping me do this.
Good. All right. Any closing thoughts, Lon?
Just don't miss it. It's something that...
It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Yeah.
All righty. We'll be out there next week, guys, and we'll see you out there.
We'll see you.
Thanks, KBZY.
It's just right for extra membership.